Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about why Trump can't pin Harris to Biden. The GOP strategists trying to deal with Trump's erratic behavior and inability to follow the simplest of plans seem to be struggling to find a campaign plan that is A, effective, and B, easy enough for Trump to follow. Let's be honest, he's lost a few steps. Trump tried his normal lines. He attacked Harris as a woman, then attacked her heritage, then made up things about her. A bunch of childish schoolyard bullying. They failed to stick. They backfired and made him seem weird and out of touch. His advisors and allies asked and begged him to talk about policy and defeat her on that front. The GOP even altered its longtime talking points and alienated its own voters to make it easier for Trump. He doesn't have a clear policy vision and can't stay on topic long enough to articulate one if he did. So he goes off script and starts rambling insults, making a fool of himself, and driving the very voters they want to attract away. It's even worse than him just running with the personal attacks from the start, because it draws attention to his lack of policy. Now it seems the plan is to try to tie Harris to Biden and the negative perceptions independents associated with him. Throughout the overwhelming majority of America's political history, this would have probably worked. Presidents and vice presidents have been mostly perceived to share the same policies. Even though it hasn't really been the case, people have viewed it that way. Basically, through all of the modern political history, up until just a few years ago. This would have been a foolproof move. So yeah, even Trump, in his current state, could do it. But somebody taught the American public that presidents and vice presidents will often have very different ideological, political, and moral views. Trump. Where's Trump's last vice president? Trump taught the public that presidents and their VPs don't always share policy. When his vice president stood up to his attempts to undermine the will of the American people. That very public disagreement showed the U.S. in an incredibly dramatic way that policy disagreements are real. VPs are traditionally chosen because of how they shore up the ticket, how they appeal to different demographics. There would have to be policy disagreements. The way they're chosen kind of guarantees it. Most candidates don't choose a weird mini-me who doesn't broaden the reach of the ticket. So GOP strategists have to know this, right? So why go with a strategy that isn't really that great? Because it doesn't require Trump to learn anything new. Remember, we've seen more than a few signs that Trump is kind of frozen in time and has a hard time adapting to new developments. All he has to do to execute this strategy is insert Harris's name after Biden's and keep to his old routine. And when he inevitably forgets, his handlers can say, why does he need to name Harris? They're Biden's policies. Republican strategies are limited by their candidates' inability to follow a plan. They have to work with what they have. It also has huge potential to backfire. Every time they try to tie Harris to the Biden administration policy, the fact checkers might, if they're doing their job, put the real Harris policy out there. Democratic policies poll far better than Republican ones. Even if news outlets just allow the framing to go unchallenged, Harris has a chance to use that massive ad buy to paint Trump as a weird, confused liar who doesn't know whose policies are whose. You might want to blame GOP strategists for looking at a strategy that seems so likely to fail, but they have to work with what they have. The Republican primaries gave them a candidate who voters have already rejected, whose one-time novel rhetoric is boring and dated, and who frankly has lost a few steps over the last 8 years. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.